Happy Tuesday, friends. I hope you're having an excellent day. We're happy you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Izzy, how are you?
I'm good, Phil. How are you?
Hold on. Do you know what I just did? The cardinal thing that we're not supposed to do, which was unmute a tab. So I just heard you and then I heard the browser tab, but the
Oh
situation is
no.
fixed.
There
Yes.
you go.
I always swear that's not going to happen. I was like, what was happening there? Friends, we're so happy you're here today. We're going to have we're going to have a great little hour. We are talking about brand expansion. Izzy, do you want to elaborate on how we're going to tackle this today with a real life client of yours?
Yes, actually, if we can hop right away into my screen, we can like just walk through this whole brand
Love
because
it.
there is a lot to unpack here. So the client of today is called 44.4 Mother Artist Collective, and they are a group of mothers who came together. They're all artists, they're all creative professionals, and they wanted to have a bigger voice by coming together as artist mothers. And they came to me last year actually to build their brand. And because of my background in fine arts, this was just so fun to just amalgamate everything together. So here
I
is the
love it.
brand book. And the cool thing with this, like I like sharing just a quick like brand strategy here. But the cool thing with this is that because they all have their own individual practice, there was an extra added layer of challenge because they each wanted their individuality within this collective. And so this here, sorry, is the target client, but the visual identities. This was the mood board. Another cool thing of working with creatives is that they like the same style that I liked. Like, which is
That's true.
very eclectic and very design focused, photography focused. But here we have a really big color palette, and this is what I meant by everyone was represented, sorry, because we each of the artists have their individual color. So when we're talking about the collective as a whole, we have all of the colors coming together. But whenever they're talking about them individually, they can use a single color with black and white and gray.
That is
And
so cool. Wait, stay on that for
right?
a second. I
Yes.
just need
Okay.
to we need to relish in this moment because that is such a creative decision. Friends, I know we have a lot of creative pros with us today and every day, either live, I see you in the chat, or watching the replay. We like you too. Um, Izzy, this is so creative, right? People come to the table with different photography, like different photography. So obviously different
Yeah.
photographers have taken it, different color qualities, warm, cooler, etc. And this is such a creative way to brand that.
Actually, these photos were all taken by Alexa, who you can see right here in the hot
Even
pink.
better.
And it was really a way for us to portray that like each of them had their individual practices and like maybe different messaging. Like they came together as a group to talk about like the challenges of motherhood for specific art shows, but not always. And another cool thing that we wanted to do is that maybe they won't necessarily have a show that has the 12 of them together. Maybe it's just the four of them. But how do we
Hmm.
identify that? But then having that color reference, you can only use those four colors to create the branding of the event or the exhibition. So it was like a really interesting brand play. So here we have the fonts. I'm going very quickly because I know I can like stay here forever. This was the logo. And we have a responsive logo and a logo that has the full name, just like offering some diversity here, the logo spacing. And here, another thing that I would like to point out is that by having that dot with the 44.4 was another way to identify each of the creative in this group. So they each have their own logo that they can feature on their own as well. As
Genius.
right, I'm really happy with this brand. It's like there was a lot of depth into it. And there was also like added assets where like those dots were created to do like a series of like, well, the squares here and also the Mother Artist Collective, which we will use today in our project. So this is how everything came together.
Beautiful.
Loving the merch. And it's cool because they took this literally and they created the merch, and there's some at some like few shops around Ottawa, which is awesome. This is my
Don't you love when that
absolute,
happens? You
oh my gosh.
conceptualize something and the client's like, "Can I have exactly that?" You're like, "Yes."
Yes. And honestly, this is my favorite one. And I think this is the first one that they made, is the having the children's t-shirt where it says my mom made this, as a double standard, that my mom made me, but my mom also made the artwork that is on the wall. And I've seen some really cute baby pajamas with it, which like just like warms my heart. We have Alexa
Great work.
Mazzarello in the chat, by the way. Hi, Alexa. Thank you so much for joining. Yes,
Yes, thank
so
you for joining.
some merch. This is like really a really nice poster. And here, technically, we don't even have the logo, but because of the colors and then the added assets like Mother Artist Collective, we still recognize the brand like at the forefront, which is super fun. Okay, some social media assets. And here is like another example where not all of the 12 colors are added together, just a few of them, and how like everything works together. I really wanted to preface
Beautiful
that
job.
because we will be working on both today. We will be working on a reel that talks about some of the members and then one member only. So it's all good. We have this brand, but of course, if they're here, that means there is a brand problem. So is it the
Yes.
time to watch the cute video from Alexa and Rebecca?
Let's watch it.
Let's cue that up.
Hi, I'm Alexa.
And I'm Rebecca. We're both part of the 44.4 Mother Artist Collective, and we work and exhibit together.
We worked with Izzy to create a brand for our collective, which was very important because we had an exhibition coming up and we wanted to professionalize our online presence. However, our main problem is that we are all busy because we are mothers and artists and business owners, and we don't have a ton of time to make content. So we are really excited that we have the help of Izzy and Phil today to help us create some video content. We can't wait to see what they make. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Rebecca and Alexa, I don't know you yet, but I already love you. Izzy, you're a magnet for good people. By
Oh
the way,
my
I think
goodness.
we are a magnet for good people. Should we give a quick shout out to Alessandra, Oliver, Ray, Wade? We got all of our people. Idara's here. We got the whole crew. Plus, we've got Alexa in the chat. We are so, so excited to tackle this today.
Oh my goodness. There's like so much that I wanted to do with this, but there's only an hour and we have to hop in right away. So, all right. Here, when you hop to Adobe Express, like basically we want to create a template, and they have shared with me that they wanted to do more video reels. Again, they're mothers, they're busy. So something that they can build and then just swap that video very quickly so then they can, create more content. So this is exactly what we will be doing today. So if I go here on the plus sign and I can just go and select Instagram Reel. What I like about this, I could have done just a story, but I like that it's already opening that like video timeline with like, I can just click here to add audio. I want to do something very quickly. And it's like, I've practiced before. We now you know all the secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I was surprised even with myself how quickly I was able to build this reel. So without further ado, let's do it. So I
We
have,
also know that you're not a lover of reels traditionally. So the
oh my
fact that you're being
gosh,
able to create these and express in just a few seconds, minutes, that's super, super inspiring.
this, yes, you're absolutely right. And this is going to change, by the way, because I gave myself the challenge for next year to have a better presence online. And I'm gonna do it. Like I'm keeping, like actually I'm telling all of you so you can keep me accountable for this goal and reach new heights. So here I'm just clicking the plus add scene and selecting the videos, just sliding them in. I'm not even going through like upload media. It's easier for me to just drop them. I don't know if this is a new feature, Phil, but I just discovered that today, the drop, and it's so fun.
I don't think that's a new feature, but one of the new features that was announced at Max is the ability to have multiple audio tracks in your reels. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
simple, but this makes such a difference for creators that need to be able to mix things together. So you've got music, but you've also got an audio track. You may even decide you want to narrate this directly in Express, which is possible. So now you're not limited to just one audio track, and that's very exciting.
It is very exciting. Also, you can add noise too if you want to like have something more punchy on something that
Yes,
you're saying
sound
that you want.
effects.
Exactly. Sound effects. So thank you for translating my my
That's okay.
French brain.
I knew what you were saying. Yeah, sound effects. No, that's a good point, Izzy, actually. When you go to media and then filter over, or you go over to the tab for audio, now it's not just royalty-free music from Adobe stock that you can use. You can also use sound effects. Just that like extra little punch.
All right, so right now I dropped a few videos. So these were taken for a past exhibition that they have already done, but they could not, like they did not have the chance to post it. So the show was called Nobody Sees a Flower. And then they like mixed it with Nobody Sees a Mother. So we have to cut a specific parts of those videos because it starts with Nobody Sees a Flower, which we don't want to bring attention to at the moment. And for that, there's just like a little bit of tweaking that needs to happen. But it's again crazy how fast we can do this in Adobe Express. So here I'm just gonna like play a little bit so you can hear like how it's sounding so far.
Nobody sees the actual painting.
Nobody sees a flower.
So see here, we see it like Nobody Sees a Flower. So with Jenny here, we are okay because she's not saying it. But then with Alexa, we need to like just cut it a little bit. So this is a little
Mhm.
finicky where like you have to go back, play it to make sure that it's like exact, but so easy to do right here.
Or
There you go. So here, and the cool thing is when you know that this section has been said, you just pause and then I can bring the video and cut it up to my cursor. So then
Painting.
and nobody sees the multitasking that I gotta do around here.
these are so good. So happy.
They're
This
really
one,
cute.
this one is a little longer, so I know that it needs a bit of cutting. So let's just see here.
Nobody
I'd love to know from
sees.
our friends in the chat, are you using Adobe Express primarily for digital or print designs, or have you started using it, especially now that we have multiple audio tracks? Have you started using it for Reels? It's literally perfect now for Instagram Reels, TikToks, Shorts. Let us know in the chat. I want to know how you are currently using Express, and is it for video projects? Rebecca says, "This is so cool. Thank you, Izzy and Phil." Alexa says, "Hi, hi. Thank you guys both for being here.
Okay,
Love this
let's just
brand."
it was such a fun brand and it's really cool because their art practices are so varied, but they make it work whenever they're doing a group show. They are genius at like bridging everything together and it's really amazing to see. They are on fire. They like are exhibiting like crazy right now. And another thing that I'd like to add is like I'm hoping that having a brand and a strategy help them to be on fire like they are. I mean, part of me thinks that yes it is. But like I'd love to hear it from them.
Well, I mean, think about it. A brand strategy is great in theory, but it's really only useful in practice. So I
Yeah.
feel like even taking the time to position a brand like this, especially when you've got varied opinions and different brands, personalities, branding a lot of times is like bringing the elements together and figuring out how they coexist. I
Mm.
often have, it's not quite the same, but I often have busy entrepreneurs that come to me and say, "Phil, I've got these 5 different projects. I'm hoping that a brand is a way to bring them together." And usually it is.
So actually, so we have Jennifer here, Jenny, who is in the chat too, and Alexa, who just said, "Thank you. We love our brand, and yes, it has helped us professionalize our presence to our community." Yay! Someone
Yay!
please,
How about that for a testimonial?
yeah, there you go. Screen capture that someone so I can use it on my website later. Okay, let's just see where we're at here.
Flower and no.
Okay. Again, tedious work.
And nobody sees.
I love this one actually from Rebecca.
So you're just lining up the clips so that it flows nicely. And
Exactly.
I thought since we got the whole crew here, we got Rebecca, we have Jennifer, we have Alexa. There's a chance you guys are new to Adobe Express. There's a chance we've got viewers that are new. I know we've got a lot of people that are using Express, but Adobe Express is like one of the best places to think of it as like a creative hub. So, particularly for someone that's using Photoshop, Illustrator, now InDesign, you've got some of these files. Or even if you're not using those pro tools, you can hop into Express, which is browser based, and go, ah, there's going to be some new buttons and some new things to see, and you'll get the hang of it. But it really is designed for both someone that's a beginner or someone that, Izzy, as you give an examples, maybe someone that's an artist that can hop in here and go, this can really house all of your brand assets via a library or even a brand which is specific to Express. You can organize your logos, colors, fonts, and assets, even templates, and really start to like build all the tools like you need, like a little toolkit. Not just we often tackle like digital projects, but also videos. I love that we're spending time on this today, Izzy, because I think it's really good to see.
Yeah, me too. And this is exactly what they came to me with that like problem, which it makes so much sense on where, I mean, we're talking about brand expansion today, like where like reels are taking like businesses today. And you have to be able to do some storytelling to entertain in order to stay top of mind. The cool thing with them is that they can divide and conquer because there are 12
Yes.
of them, which is cool. And maybe like they can reuse this template afterward and do something like a day in the life of, where they show both their task as a mother and then their artist studio and vice versa. Because as Alexa beautifully said in her snippet video here, like multitasking, which is definitely a superpower when it comes to motherhood. Okay,
Mhm.
so right now, just because it's hard for me to, because I know we're sharing sound, so I don't want to talk over you, Phil, whenever you're talking. But quickly, I just added this scene where I put the background black, and I've already built like a full brand kit here with all of the logos, and I just pulled the logo here and then the 12 colored square. What I want to do, I want to make sure that this line here of the square stays at the same place, and I want to have an intro slide and outro slide. So I'm going to duplicate this scene and just bring it all the way to the front. I'm going to finish the last one. So essentially, like they say, nobody sees a mother, but and they don't see, and then statement from all of them. So something to end here could be, let me just add text. Do you see it now? As a call to action for the audience to interact and maybe even have conversation about what they're sharing. Do you see it now? Like so. And just going to change the font of that to perfectly 90s, which is a font that I bought on Creative Market if you're interested of like, to have
It's so
it.
good. It's so good. Also, let me call out that if your brand font is not in Adobe Fonts, don't fret. That's something that you can upload directly into Express. If you have a Creative Cloud subscription, then you get Express Premium as part of that. If not, we've got a lot of people that are using Express. Sometimes you'll hop in here for free try it out and realize, gosh, this is really useful for me. They also have a premium plan, which is very, very affordable and lots of premium features, resize, libraries, brands, and the ability to upload custom fonts, just like this one. Love it. This is like, if I had to choose an element, I think the font is like my favorite part of the brand, Izzy. It's so nice.
It's so good. And there's a lot of different fonts because we wanted to make sure that there was a proper emotion. Like they have some exhibition that are a bit more sensitive, like where they want to, shake things up and have strong messaging. So we have like a bold all caps font in there, but then something that is a bit softer when we're talking about motherhood, children play in that like kind of dream state sometime. And this is what we have perfectly 90s over here, which is my
Love
favorite
it.
out of all of them. So because here it's like, do you see it now? I would love to add an effect, and there's like cool animation here. So I have my text selected. I clicked on animate. If I just go back here, animation, and then I want something to fade out, not in. So I go to out, and the cool thing is that I can just hover on all of the animations, and it's giving me a preview of what it's going to do. Now I want something simple, just fade, and I'm going to do the same for the logo. And let's play that.
We
Let's
have
see.
Renato in the chat. We have Robert, who said he uses Express for design, video, converting video to GIF or GIF, different pronunciation. I'm Switzerland in this case. Both pronunciations are fine for me. Ray says the web version makes Express super accessible to everyone. And Nicholas says, as a result of the audio tracks, I have started using Express to make Instagram Reels instead of Premiere Pro and Audition. It takes some of my tedious work out of the process. Can I just highlight that comment? If I could
Yes.
showcase that, spotlight it, whatever it takes, that is the kind of comment that really underscores the purpose of Adobe Express. We're not trying to replace the tools, the pro tools that you know and love, like Photoshop and Illustrator. You're still going to use those. But much like Ray, much like Nicholas have said, Izzy, I hop into Express. Before I even open a project, I find myself using a quick action. Quick actions being a suite of literally, as they sound, quick actions, whether it's converting file types, creating a QR code, converting video to GIF is a perfect example, one I use all the time. Animation, Izzy, what you're doing on screen, these are things that can be done beautifully and amazingly in After Effects, but it can take a very long time. So Express earns its name being called Express because you can do this literally, in many cases, in a single click.
Absolutely. Actually, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I duplicated the last scene of the reel, and because I wanted to make sure that my font size, that everything was at like the same exact position. And because we're fading out at the end, I wanted to fade in. So when I duplicated it, it kept the same animation. But here I'm just going to animation. Here it was selected. I'm just clicking in, making sure this is checked out for the out. I'm going to do that for the logo here. See here, this is selected. That means that there's an animation phasing out. Just going to click on none, go to in, and then fade in. And if I play this, it's perfect. All right.
It is perfect. Also, you didn't use it, but there's a new feature if it's relevant for your project, which is animate all. When you see animation in the top bar over on the top left-hand side, that's what that is. That's if you want to quickly animate the entire slide. But as Izzy has done, Izzy, you've applied kind of like custom timed animations to this to make it look how you want it to look, which is totally the right way to go.
So now let's say we have like done all of the videos like perfectly. The next thing would be to add music to it. So here I would go to, yes, this is like the final step for me. I don't know if it is the same for you. Or maybe I should have the music first and then time everything with the beat.
Some people do it that way, but other people do it as kind of that final element. I'm the same as you. I typically add it at the end, unless it's like a trend, so a specific audio track that I'm
Right.
using to like follow a certain trend. Otherwise, I find that there's such great audio options in Express. You can also use the TikTok Symphony Assistant if it's going specifically on TikTok. You've got options here.
Absolutely. So here in the audio, I want to research something that is upbeat and happy. And I just clicked that. Sorry, I just typed that and then searched it. And it's giving me a lot of different options, which you can just click here if you want to have a sample of what it's going to sound like. Now, I did some, again, I practiced before. And this upbeat music is the way to go. A cool new thing, again, I'm not sure how new this is, but I discovered it today, is that we have the in and out feature here for sound. So we want, like personally, I wanted to fade in and then fade out, just like the animation that we have with the text. So I can just click on this here and I can even select the duration of like what I want that to look like. So I'm just going to keep it at 2 seconds here. Okay.
Look at you, you
So,
little pro. What are you, a professional reel maker or something?
oh my goodness. I mean, I'll take that title, but maybe when I have a few more followers, maybe in a few, it takes me a few more practice. So, oh, we have Greta Grip. Greta Grip is
Yeah,
also
Greta's
part of the,
here.
yeah, she's part of the collective too. Okay. So let's look at the final one. So again, for your, for everyone, here is the final version where you can see how everything kind of like fits perfectly.
Nobody sees the actual painting.
And nobody sees the multitasking that I gotta do around here.
Nobody sees clutter or laundry, apparently.
Nobody sees.
I love this one.
I forgot. I'm too tired.
And nobody sees that I'm hacking my way through motherhood.
Nobody sees a mother, and nobody sees the dishwasher.
See you later, girls. How cute is this?
That is literally perfect. It's
Right?
beautiful.
It's like, yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for them that they will be able to just expand and share like the good messages that they have like through their art with something like this. Because this, like, even though I'm not a mother, like I did get like it did touch me a lot. I mean, I know them too, but it touched me a lot, even though I think if I did not know them, like
Hmm.
personally, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So we're only halfway through this stream, so there is more. So let's build
But
another
wait,
template
there's
for
more.
there is more. Let's go back to our other file where I'm gonna like create this. So here we can like just add plus and create a whole and different template for them. So as we have mentioned, they are 12 different artists. So a good way to showcase their different practices would be to introduce them as individual artists. And since the brand is based on that, where the color, they all have their individual color, and it's like we really want to tie it in for their social media. Let's build something for that. So going to the brand kit, in the assets here, I have Rebecca's really pretty photo here.
I love that photo.
Yeah, she's so pretty. Those curls are so gorgeous. And
I just feel like these images that you've colored, like it even helps, obviously, the same photographer take all of them, but they're so nice.
they
They're
are
so
so
nice, so
nice.
timeless.
Yeah, yeah, they are. So basically what we want to do is showcase the different practice. So here, introducing Rebecca, what I want to do is like having a reel that's like not not stop motion like, I would say like
Hmm.
half a second where we're seeing the artwork, but still
Yeah.
giving a good idea that's going to pique some intrigue, and we're still going to understand like what she does as her practice. So
And
to
it's
start, yeah.
you're timing it quickly. And why
Mm-hmm.
that's smart, since you're a Reels expert, you already know this, Izzy. But why that's smart is it has people watching it 2, 3, sometimes 4 or more
Mm-hmm.
times
Mm-hmm.
in an order. Um, we've seen trends where, super short reels, 3, 4, 5 seconds, trend. There's been other moments where something longer, a minute or longer, has performed well. Generally, when an algorithm, oh, this is looking good. Generally, when an algorithm goes, huh, this viewer and a handful of viewers have watched this multiple times, that works in your favor.
Yes, because it says, hey, there's interaction here. So they're going to bring your content up and hopefully on the
Yes.
discovery page too. Okay, so here I have clicked and dragged another photo, which is awesome because this is going to be the background and I'm going to be adding and I don't want it to move around. I'm just going to lock it and I'm going to add Rebecca's name. So type that.
Greta says,
And
great photography, Alexa. I agree, Greta. That is beautiful
mhm.
photography. We have Nuno in the chat. Axel, I see you. Thanks, guys, for being here.
So here, this is what I was talking about with the font that is like bolder, all caps, and it has a very different vibe. Even though Rebecca's art is very soft, I think to introduce the artist, like it's okay. I mean, it's easily changeable afterwards. If this is like something that let me just like, yeah, we want to change after. And I love this artwork because it's literally framing the photo or like my gosh, I cannot speak today.
Okay.
It's
It's
I'm
framing
to
the photo.
I'm
It is.
exactly. It's framing the photo and it's like directing our eye like to Rebecca and it's like, okay, we know that this is her who has like made this artwork. By the way, these are all like tiny collages and they are absolutely gorgeous. So another thing that I want to do here is I obviously want to showcase that she is part of the 12 female group or mothers group, I should say. So I want to add the square again,
I feel
like
like you have
so.
such creative people in your community.
Oh my gosh. So, we talked about this before, but I'm going to mention it again is like Ottawa is known to be this boring government uncreative city, but it is so far from the truth. There is so much happening here and a lot of people go to Toronto and they live here, they leave to go to Toronto, they come back because they say I was not able to find a creative community in Toronto, but I found it in Ottawa. So, like, yes, people that are saying there's nothing going on, it's because they're not looking hard enough. Okay, my TED Talk is done now.
I love it though. I know you're passionate about it and it's
Yes.
true. I mean, look at the community you formed. I think it's really neat also that we get a little window into your world through the client projects. Also, it's the first time that we've had this many people in a certain community or client come to the chat, by the way. So
Yes.
this little army of moms gets a prize, some kind of prize that we come up with, Izzy.
Absolutely. Okay, so here I just added a quick shape because again, I want to maintain the color of Rebecca to truly identify her. And then let me just bring the opacity way down. Like I barely want it there, just enough. So this would be the cover here. There you go. So it's 5 seconds at the moment, which is a little too long. Let me put it at 2 seconds. Even then, I feel like 1.5 would be. Phil, you're
Yeah.
the expert. Like it's like if we want to
Yeah.
hook people
I go in
in.
that range. Yeah. One and a
Okay.
half to 2 seconds normally. Alexa liked my comments. Army of moms. A good army, a good army. Do you know what's funny? I just said Alexa's name out loud. I have to whisper it, otherwise my speakers in my house are like, "What did you say?" My
Oh,
Amazon speaker. Um,
yes.
I want to know from Alexia in the chat. Does that also happen to you? Do you own Alexa in your house? Because that would be an issue every time someone says your name.
That is
Look
funny.
at
Okay.
that.
So, I mean, so gorgeous, right? So again,
That is beautiful.
I added another scene and it's 5 seconds. So because I want to like make this work faster, specifically for them who don't have a lot of time, I'm going to make it point 0.5 seconds. And I'm just going to duplicate it a lot of times. So that way I don't have to shrink that bar time and time again. And it's very easy for me to just duplicate it that way. Like so. And then I can also go on and on and on. So on the third scene here, I could either click on this and do replace or just delete it and then click and drag it. So as you can see too here, the images are like already made for Instagram. They're in a square shape. So it does not necessarily fit like the full real canvas, but that's okay because when we do stretch it, and even though we're not showing the whole thing, I think it creates a lot of like mystery. And this is what we're trying to do here with this type of content. Like even this here, where there's this diptych, if I stretch it, we'll lose one entirely. But if we just do this, hinting that there's more, this is interesting.
Well, you bring up a good point. Social media is typically a little sneak peek or an aspect of it, a snippet intended to stir up, as you said, some interest or some intrigue um, around something bigger. You could be sending them to a website. You could be sending them to a link to buy the piece of art. It could be going to Pinterest. Something like this, where you've got a solid color background. My recommendation exactly would be adjust that background color, or you can go into elements and then shapes and find a shape and then color match the background. You've got some options. Can I also mention a new feature? I don't think you need to use it, Izzy, but let's call it out. If you find yourself in a situation where the image is cropped in a certain way and it's limiting for whatever you're trying to create, then you can now use the the resize feature, which now has generative expand built into it. So what that means is when you go to resize a canvas, let's say you're going to turn this into a YouTube thumbnail, something like that, then the new expand feature, when enabled, as long as you have an image that either goes side to side or top to bottom. Doesn't need to be both, it just needs to be one of them. It will use AI to generate the top and the bottom, which is really cool. You don't need it in this case because, again, we're honing in on a specific aspect of the art, but since that's a new feature, I wanted to call it out.
Love it. I want to preface that don't expand art like that because that would not be good use of the expand feature. But for everything else, go nuts. So here I want to point out like a problem that I faced. So if I go closer, so as you can see here, I don't want to expand the collage to the full canvas because like we're losing a lot of it for this one. And as you can see, the top here is a little lighter and the bottom here is like perfect black. So what I did, I was like scrappy, is like went to elements, got a shape like so, put it on top, like the closest that I could, and then use the fill color picker and went at the top and it fixed the problem. So you won't see that separation as much whenever it's uploaded on a phone. This is something that I've noticed if you're like very prone to details as I am.
Me too.
it's like this stuff like this would drive me nuts. So by doing this, specifically if someone has like their luminosity full blown on their phone, they will definitely pick it up. So try to like think about like those details.
Yes. And that's just a good little trick to know is shapes in Express, which you'll find under elements. It seems so inconspicuous or simple, but really those are some of the most powerful features in Express since they're fully vector. You can resize them, recolor them, easy. I use shapes in
Absolutely.
almost every design.
Right. And I mean, it's just a good way to, I don't know, make sure that everything makes sense in the design. So I'm going to duplicate this more. It's actually going faster than this is going faster than I thought.
We love when that happens in Adobe.
Yes.
Express, emphasis on Express. I feel like that's always like, I don't know. That's a good thing, Izzy. It's a good thing when what you're trying to design happens faster than planned.
This I want to like fully stretch because look at how this is cool. Imagine how this was like, this is tiny in real life. And this is like, takes so much precision to cut with the X-Acto knife. So much patience, which is something that
Not
sometimes
my forte.
Yeah, same. I don't have, depends on what it is, but still.
Yeah.
So as you can see as well, because like some of the backgrounds is white on the artwork like this one and some is black, I think it's important to create a pattern as well. So for this here where we like don't necessarily feel like, I personally don't feel like I should expand it. I want to have the background black, and I'm going to make sure that at the end it's like not necessarily all white, all dark whenever like the scenes are playing, just to make sure that there's a bit more interactivity and contrast as well. Like if we play it right now, actually, let's see, because this is something you should do too, just to see if the direction is like makes sense, just like looking at it.
Love it.
There you go. Oops. And I just clicked my Adobe Suite
into Express, Command C, Command V if you are on a Mac. You're on a PC. Is that right, Izzy? What?
What?
What about our friends in the chat? Mac or PC? I have a feeling 90% of people are going to say Mac. This is a very creative group.
It is. I mean, sometimes like I feel like I'm so branded when it comes to that I might start writing my name like small I, big S, cap S, and then like so
they know their audience.
Exactly. Okay, so see here, I clicked add scene by accident, so it's just easier for me to just duplicate like that and keep going like so. And I think we're almost out of artworks. Here, I like this one because Rebecca actually inserted herself with her daughter in this one.
That's another example with that solid background that's going to be easy to replicate with a shape or a background color. Oh my gosh, look, Robert's PC. We got Mac and PC with Oliver. Ray uses a Mac and an iPad. Misty uses a Mac. Alessandra, a Mac. Chris, a Mac. I think I was right. Mac outweighs PC.
Yes. All right, so here we could keep adding and go like nuts. What I also like here is that we can see how long this reel is right now, because it's only 0.5 second for each scene. It's very short. It's only 8 seconds, which I guess is good to your theory earlier that if you want people to watch it again, like to create intrigue because it's going so fast. So this is good. You don't want it to go too long, but it's definitely missing something at the end. Let's actually play it again. Cassandre, who is my good friend, is saying Mac on YouTube. Hey, Cass, nice to see you here.
I love this art.
It's
beautiful.
So pretty. I have one. I'm very lucky that I have a Rebecca Clouat in my house. And actually, Yes, I love those statues, like the old Greek statues, and
Mm-hmm.
she made one with the Greek statue specifically for my bedroom, and I'm so happy. Okay, so something to end with, specifically if we're introducing each of the individual artists here, would be to have something like nice to meet you, or again, something to create some conversations. Another thing too is if we're talking about branding and we want to have somewhat of template where we did
Mm-hmm.
have an intro and outro slide for the first reel that we have built, could be a good idea to repeat this practice. So then even in the way that you're setting up your files, there is a repetition. And by all means, by doing that multiple time, brand recognition. So let me just duplicate that and I will bring
This
it.
is gold. We're seeing Izzy, who's definitely a creative pro, creating often in Illustrator, InDesign. This is a perfect example of how a designer can go in and templatize for their clients. They don't necessarily need to be as much of a pro in some of these tools. That's why designers get hired. But to be able to then, like, how great is it, Izzy, to not only create a beautiful brand, which we've seen today, but also like hand it off and say, hey, here's a template that I created for you. All you need to do is pop in the elements moving forward. I just love to see that in action. I feel like we've never really had a tool that's enabled us to do that well from creations or designs that originate from Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop.
And for me personally too, is the fact that it's so easy for the client to then take it and do a lot of stuff with it. It
Yes.
has happened to me way too often that, you give this brand and then they are a small team and they don't necessarily take the time to implement it. And you're just like, all this work and like it could have been. And this is like the worst thing that can happen, right? When you think this could have been.
Also, from our perspective, like, we put in
Yes,
the effort, we get hired, and
exactly.
more important than money, we get trusted by a client to create something. We want the client to both be empowered out in the wild, to know how to use their brand and how to stay brand consistent, but also not feel too limited, too boxed in. And so
Hmm.
Express is like the best way to have that middle ground.
Absolutely. Okay, so here is just the look of it, how everything is coming together. I also love that we have a contrast between where we see the whole thing and then some is like a close up. I think that's like adding to the rhythm of this reel. So what's missing now? Again, sound, which we will add. So again, going to media, and I did some research. And the cool thing here is that there is a lot of like a massive library to fit all of the mood that you want to portray. When we look at Rebecca's artwork, it's definitely peaceful. You don't feel stressed. It's like you're entering that dream state almost, a specific flow of thoughts. So let's do peaceful as a keyword.
Keeping your life simple, looking for audio that's coming directly from Adobe
Oh,
stock.
I should do audio. So I did peaceful nature because I wanted to see how that fits in. Let's see, because if it's noise, and maybe we can do the dual audio here where we have both music and noise. Let's try it out. It is not noise. Let's try that again. Maybe we do nature noise. This is a happy accident. I'm like thinking about this on the spot. No.
That's where the best ideas and designs come from. The things you prepare hours and hours for, and then like you land on something, you're like, actually, this totally changes the direction or the purpose.
How about birds? Bird park. Yes, this is exactly what I want. Awesome. So let's have a listen. I think it works well. Oh, I'm gonna do a fade in and out for that one as well. It's cool that as soon as I added the sound, it prompted me to say, hey, do you want this? And it's perfect. So here, going to do peaceful ambient. Let's see what comes out. If I can spell it properly.
Ray says, what happens if a Creative Pro makes a template with advanced features? Can a client with a free plan edit the template? Ray, it would just depend on what those features are that were used for it. So there are features that span both the free and the paid plan, like the content scheduler. It's a free across the platform. Libraries is premium. So if a design in a template uses a library element, the client with the free plan can still see and use it and interact with it, but they wouldn't be able to access the library to add elements to it. So you'll see libraries, but you won't be able to interact with them until you've upgraded your Express account. Those are just a few examples.
All right, so here, let's see how everything works together. So I'll mention something. This is way too intense. Okay, so something that I did by accident here is I had my cursor right here, and when I wanted to add the music, it actually started the music where I had my cursor. This is when you have two different audio tracks. So I just deleted that and then brought it all the way at the beginning. And I'm gonna do deep meditation, and then let's see how this sounds. It's a little loud. Just gonna bring this down, the volume, because I want to hear the birds. Okay. I mean, I like it. Do you like it?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I feel like
this is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. And even like the idea of creating a template that you can hand off to the client. Now we can say, this example is with Rebecca. This is created by the designer. I don't know. I feel like just this idea of templates and having this shared space, Izzy, between designer and client. If anything, yes, the platform's powerful, but it's a conduit for conversations that are so important. Like for the client to then be able to come to you and say, hey, here's what I made using your time, using your template. Did I do this right? Did I stay on brand? Is there anything you would do differently? See how that conversation is really, really created from a tool like this. It's really cool to see it in action.
It is super cool to see in action. So here I just duplicated this one, and I'm seeing the time, but here just to show you how easy it would be, because all of my amazing clients are in like watching right now. So here, having Rebecca's photo, you can just do replace.
Yes.
And we have all the brands here. We can just click on that, go to, oh, I'm not seeing the brand. Hold on. Oh, it's libraries.
Oh, yes.
That is why.
May come up under a library. Izzy, if we have time, could you right click on the text, Rebecca's name? I also want to point out that if, for example, a designer is wanting to lock but allow replace of that text, as a designer, this might be something I use. Lock, allow replace means you can change the actual text, but you cannot change the font or the size or the allocated shape that's there. There's a few additional style controls there that are rolling out gradually in Express. But again, this is one way to find that happy medium between client being empowered, but also knowing how to stay on brand.
There you go.
Looking
so
good.
Here, when you click here and you go to replace the link asset here, then the brands appear. So I had all like Alexa's photo right here. So that was like an easy swap. And then here, same thing where we can replace brand, make sure that it is Alexa's color right here. And of course, we would need to change all of the artworks, but that's how easy it is, where we can literally duplicate here. I'll do it again so fast, like with Jenny.
That
because I
is
see
how you do it.
Like Jenny's here, exactly. here.
And then just update the colors, the elements. I
colors.
should also note, I know we're wrapping up here on time, but you can now save this template to a brand in Express, and it will actually save it under the template section. Ralph, will answer your question really quickly. Does a shared file require the recipient to be registered? They can see it without logging in on a view only link, but if that's a remixable template, then obviously, yes, you would have to register with Express. Express is the theme of today, actually expansion,
Yes.
Izzy. I feel like you just so beautifully set this incredible brand, the Army of Moms, the unofficial name of this brand, up for success. It's been so
Yes.
fun to have.
Here.
Look at that. Look at that. It's been
Yes.
so fun to have the Army here in the chat and active with us. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for hanging out with us. I'm coming back here, if you're watching live, in about half an hour to talk about Pinterest Pins, my last challenge of the month. Izzy, you're a superstar. Thank you for bringing this amazing client to our show. And next week, we will be back, but we will be back on Thursday, not Tuesday. So we will see you then on Ask a Designer. Have a great day, and I'll see you shortly if you're with us live.
Bye, everyone.